Uppland was one of the core provinces of Svealand in central Sweden, based around Lake Mälaren. Uppland was further divided into smaller folkland, and one of the most important towns of Uppland was Uppsala, known for its historical significance. I will read a few excerpts from the law of Uppland, including the procedure to elect a Swedish king, and also a number of different cases. For example, the description of what you should do when you find a man at sea, or short excerpts from the law of inheritance.
Lag skulle vara rättvisum och snällum till sömdar, en vrangum och åsnällum till rätningar, varin allir rättvisir tha thurfti ej laga with, laga yrkir var viger spa, hedin i hednum tima, Skattar wir hittum i hans lagsago, allom mannum tharvlitar, thet setjum wir i bok thessa, thet åtharft och thungerat, thet viljum wir utan lycka. Skat och hin hedni, lät afat vara så som i kristnorät och kirkjolagom, thet skulum wir tillökja, i uppbyrjan thessar i bok. The law should be honorable to the righteous and the competent ones, but it should also correct the bad and crooked ones. If everyone were righteous, then we wouldn't need any laws. The creator of the laws was Viger Spå, a heathen in the heathen times. The things we find in his jurisdiction which is good to all men, we will put in this book. That which is unnecessary or difficult, we want to leave out. The things that the heathen didn't include, such as Christian right and church law, we shall increase in the beginning of this book. I've used this text before to compare with, for example, modern Swedish, Icelandic and Elfdalian, and also Proto-Norse, because it contains many interesting features that don't really work in continental Scandinavian due to changes in grammar and so on. The noun lag means law, and it's actually the origin of the English word law from Scandinavian. Here it is in plural because it's a neuter a stem and it doesn't have any plural form in Old Swedish. Skolo is in plural and it's the same word as English shall. Wera is the verb meaning to be. Rätvisum, rätvis is literally rightwise and it's related to English righteous, and it means the good ones, basically the just ones. Snällum is dative plural of snäll, but snäll doesn't mean kind or nice as in modern Swedish, or schnell, which means fast in German. It means more like competent or good. Sömdar is genitive singular of sömd, which means honorable. Vrangum, åsnällum are in dative plural. Vrang is the same word as English wrong, but it means more like crooked in this sense. And the unnice or uncompetent, like the bad ones. Till rätningar. Rätning is literally rightening, and here it is in genitive singular because it's a feminine noun. It takes the genitive ending ar because the preposition till governs genitive. Warin allir rättvisir. Here is warin is in subjunctive, and allir rättvisir is in masculine plural because masculine is the default gender in the language. Tha thurfti, then subjunctive needed, ej laga with, not genitive plural with laws. And here genitive plural laga is used because the verb thurva takes genitive. Laga, which is genitive plural of lag, of the laws, yrkir, which means the creator and is related to English work, was, viger, literally translated to holy spear, spa, literally translated to who has visions or foresight, heathen, i hednum tima. Hednum tima is dative singular of the noun timi, which is the same word as English time. Skattar wir hittum. Hittum is the same word as English hit, but it means to find here, just like in modern Swedish. What we find i hans lagsago. Here it is lagsaga in singular. It's a feminine noun meaning the law saying, literally, because laws were a spoken tradition. They weren't written down. allum mannum, to all men, dative plural, all men. Tharvlikt. Tharvlikt is the same root as the verb thurva, and it means need or necessity, is. Thet setjum wir I bók þessa, that we set in this book. Thet óþarft, that unneeded is. Och thungi att. Here thungi is a noun derived from the adjective thunger, which means heavy, severe or heavy. That viljum wir utan lycka, and here we have vilja, which is the same root as English will, but it means want, as in all other Germanic languages and Old English. Utan lycka is, utan means outside, lycka is the same root as English lock outside, literally. Chatok her hin hedni, what also is the heathen, let. Afat means wanting or imperfect, wera be, swasum, such as in kristnorät, Christian right, och kirkulagum and church law. That skulum wir tillöka, that shall we to eke. It's actually the same root as English eke out, which means to increase. I uppbyrjan, in the up beginning, thessari bok, of this book. Ärvdabalker börjas att gifta malum, för att kommer en av tveim, mother av manni, char av adrum, engin to komma också samman att ej mono skiljas sidor. En lider fra och annar efterliver, av sjängar alstri börjas all arv. Nu kan them manni hugger wendas eller konu, och vilja ej tha fästning halda. The chapter of inheritance begins with marriage, because always one comes from two, man from man, each from everyone else. None two people come together that they may not be separated later. One goes away while another one lives on. All inheritance begins with the source of the bed. Now the mind of a man or a woman may be changed, and they do not want to hold their vow. This is a short excerpt from Ärvdabalker, the chapter of inheritance, and this is just a few excerpts, but they're still interesting because they showcase many interesting grammatical forms. Word ärvda is the genitive form of ärvd, which means inheritance, and it's also a verb called ärva, and it's also a noun called arv, and this has been lost in English, but it's used in all other Germanic languages to mean inheritance. Piece by piece, I would say Ärvdabalker, the chapter of inheritance, börjas, begins, att gifta malum. Here the gifta is in genitive, and gift, meaning marriage, is still used in Swedish, but it actually originally meant the gift, as in the gift of marriage. Malum is dative plural of mal, which means case or to the subject of marriage. Thi, because it's actually the instrumental form of the word that. Att is a noun meaning forever. Kommer means comes. En av tveim, one of two. Tveim is dative of two. Mother of manni. Mother is nominative, manni is dative, so one comes from another, and here you see all the case forms interacting. Char is the same word as English who. Adrum is other in dative, and here we see the typical loss of n before r, and its replacement with th, which is a very common sound change, which you also see in mother. Engin, none, indefinite pronoun. To here is actually the neuter of the numeral two. It's twer in masculine, twa in feminine, meaning that it includes both men and women, implying a man and a woman. Komma oxwa samman, come also together, samman means together. At ei mono, that may not, ei means not, and mono means shall or will. Skiljas, separate. Sidr, after a while, or in time. En lider fra, one goes on, it's an euphemism for dies, och annar efterliver, and another afterlives. Here's an interesting sentence. Av Siangar alstri. Siang means bed. Alstri is the dative form of alster, which means conception or creation. Byrjas all arv, begins all inheritance, which is a kind of funny way to put it. Nu kan them manni, huger wendas eller konno. Now can them manni is dative because huger, which means mind, functions like a body part, and body parts take dative, they don't take genitive. Vendas means to turn, is turning, and here is a konu also in the dative because it's implied with the noun huger takes dative. Och vilja ej tha fästning halda. Fästning means the marriage vow here, but it means fastening literally, like the way they fasten to each other in a kind of metaphorical sense. Halda, hold. Nu Thorvaland konung välja. Tha skulle thry folkland, fyrsto konung tacka. Sätter tiondaland och atundaland och fjädrundaland. Upplanda lagman, han with Uppsalir, fyrst till konungs döma. Thärnäst, har lagmader efter adrum. Sodermanna, Östgöta, Tioherrada, Västgöta, Närrikja och Västmanna. Ther ago han till krono och konungsdömis skilja, landom rada och riki styra, laga styrkja och frid halda. Tha han dömder till Uppsala öda. Now the lands need to elect a king. Then 3 folklands shall first choose. They are Tiondaland, and Attundaland, and Fjädrundaland. The Upplanders lawman will first elect him at Uppsala. Thereafter each lawman after him. The lawman of Södermanland, Östergötland, Tiohärad, Västergötland, Närke, and Västermanland may elect him to the crown. The king will rule the land and the kingdom, strengthen the laws and uphold the peace. Then he is elected to the Uppsala öd. Word by word. Nu Thorvaland. Now need lands. Thorva is the same verb as before, meaning to need. It's a preterite present verb belonging to the same class as English shall, may and can, meaning that it works like a strong verb in the present tense but a weak verb in the past tense. Konung välja. King, choose. The verb välja is derived from the noun val, which means a choice or election. Tha skulle thry folkland. Then shall 3 folklands. Thry is the neuter form of thrir, meaning 3. Folkland were subdivisions within Uppland, meaning folklands. Fyrsto is in the dative form, meaning that it has an instrumental meaning, at first. Konung tacka, king take. That is Tiondaland och Atundaland och Fjädrundaland. Here the 3 folklands are mentioned. Tiondaland, Attundaland and Fjärdundaland. Upplanda lagman, the lawman of the uplands. Han with Uppsalir. Is the present tense of äga, which means to own, but it also means to ought to or should. Han with Uppsalir. In Old Swedish, just like in Old Norse, Uppsala is always in the plural for some reason, implying a kind of larger arrangement of buildings. Fyrst till konungs döma, first to king, elect or choose. Döma is cognate English deem, but here it means to elect. Thärnäst, their next. Har lagmader efter adrum, each lawman after the other ones in dative. Sodermanna, Östgöta, Tioherrada, Västgöta, Närrikja och Västmanna. Here are different provinces of Sweden outside of Uppland mentioned, including Södermanland, Östergötland, Tioherrada, Västergötland, Närke and Västmanland of modern Sweden. Ther ago han till krono, they ought him to crown och konungsdömis and kingdom skilja. The verb skilja has a lot of meanings, but it also means to decide or like understand. Landom rada, to rule the lands, and the verb rada takes dative, meaning that the lands are in dative plural. Och rike styra, and the kingdom steer literally. And the verb styra, just like in the modern Scandinavian languages, not only means to steer a vehicle but also steer an organization. Lag att styrka, the laws to strengthen. Styrka is same root as stark, meaning strong, a verb meaning to strengthen. Och fridhalda, frid is a noun meaning peace, to hold the peace. Tha han dömder, then he is deemed till Uppsala öda, to the king's estates. Uppsala öd is the royal estate of the Swedish crown in medieval Sweden, and the word öd means wealth or riches. Nu var mother sioker askipi oti, ther aho byr att bida och mans att göma. Nu siger annar sen man dödan vara, och annar quickan. Tha aho ther byr att bida och mans att göma, till thess allir siger sen man dödan vara, och engin quickan. Förin han i ö obyggda, lägga mellom stens och torvo. Bort sigla ther, till komma andrir. Löpa upp i ö obyggda, skämta sig och väderskåda. Höra ther att rymber i jordo, till sea ther famal av manni. Och ett namna stamboa och styriman och haseta. Ther agoman a land föra, han a själver böter för sig krävja. Now a man gets sick out on a ship. They, the sailors, shall wait for wind and take care of the man. Now a man in the crew says that the man is dead, but another one says he is alive. Then they shall wait for wind, and they shall take care of the man, until all say that he is dead, and none say that he is alive. Then they bring him on an uninhabited island, lay him between stone and turf, and they sail away. But others come to the island. They run up on the uninhabited island and have fun, and they discover. They hear a noise in the ground, and they see the man and get him to speak. He knows the names of the captain, first mate, and rower of the ship. They shall bring the man back to land, and he shall demand fines for himself. Nu var mother sioker, now becomes man sick, literally. Verða is related to the verb meaning to become in German, Icelandic, Dutch and so on, but it's been largely lost in Swedish, Norwegian, Danish and also English. It's the original basic verb for to become in Germanic. Sjoker is the word for sick, it's the same word as English sick, and it's in the masculine nominative, hence the R at the ending. Askipi oti, on a ship, the ship is in dative. Oti means out like outside of, so here it means at sea basically, far out to sea. Ther ago, they ought to, they should, because this verb doesn't just mean, as I said earlier, to own, it also means shall or ought to. Byr means a favorable wind. Bida, same word as English bide, to wait for wind. Och mans att göma, and the man to göma means to take care of, take heed or observe. No siger annar, now another says, sen man dödan vara, the man to be dead. Here you see dödan in accusative because he's the object, the other man sees he's dead. Och annar quickan, here we have another one in the crew claiming he's alive, and the word quick originally meant alive. Tha agothir byr, att bida, och mans att göma. The same phrase repeated again. They should keep a watch out for him and wait for wind. Till thess, until allir sigja den man dödan vara. All say the man dead be. Och engin quickan, and no one Here you see engin, which is the indefinite masculine pronoun. Quickan, quickan is once again accusative of quick, which originally it meant alive, not fast. Förin han I ö obyggda. Föra is a verb meaning to bring. Here it is in subjunctive plural. A mood bring him on an uninhabited island. Ö means island. Obyggda is unbuilt literally. The verb bygga doesn't just mean to build, it also means to inhabit or dwell. Lägga mellom stens och torvo. Lägga means to lay. Mellum means between. And this preposition takes genitive, so we have genitive of stens och torvo. Sten is stone, of course. Torvo is the genitive form of torva, which is related to English turf. Bort sigla ther. Bort means away. Sail they sail away. Till komma andrir. Others come there. Löpa upp I ö obyggda. Löpa means to run or go. It's the same word as English leap. Leap up to the unbuilt island, literally. Skemta sick och weatherskada. Skemta means to have fun or like play around. Höra ther att rymber I jordo. Hear they that. I think this word is quite rare. It's mostly found in this manuscript. Rymber means like making a noise. I jordo, word earth in the dative form, jordo. Till sea ther, until they see, implied the man. Fa mal of money, get speech of man. Here you may see money in dative, and they fa get mal, which means speech. They get the speech from the man. They get him to speak. Vet knows. He knows. He knows. Nämna is a verb meaning to name, and he can name the captain, first mate, and the rower. Ther ago man a land föra. They should the man on land bring. Han a själver. He shall himself. Själv is nominative of self. Böter is the plural form of båt, which means fine. Faresik krevja, demand for himself. And krevja is related to English crave, and it originally meant demand, like it still does in most Germanic languages.